Good day, Hampton Roads. We are on episode 2. I apologize. Yesterday I was quite busy. I tested for my license for my life in annuities license and passed the first time up. So yes, I'm going through the next parts of the process so I can be a person who can help you very, very soon. We're going on to part 2 of faith finances based off of the E.W. Kennan and Don Gossett book. Practice in the next steps. That's what it's going to be called. Practice in the next steps. Sorry about that. And what's going to happen is we are going to discuss our solid plan. That's right. We're going to discuss our solid plan. We are going to use some verses in the description phases. It's in the times we live in right now. Wake up and we are having, we are uh, Israel attacked Iran and stuff like that. So that's going to have direct effects on the United States and other countries. But we need to understand that in context, this was going to happen anyway, right? So in our first passage, we're going to talk about James 2:14 through 18. Here's what I observe. James keeps coming back to one main point. Faith is not just about saying something, it's something that shows up. He even gives an example if someone has a real need, words by themselves don't help. In our interpretation phase, we're doing an inductive Bible study here. Here's the application question I want you to answer honestly. Where have been using words but avoiding actions? And here's a simple one sentence step for this week. Say it out loud or write it down. This week, I will be a better steward of God's money. I will be the best employee that I can be to help not only the business that I work with, but my teammates and, of course, aligning with scripture. So you need to have positive affirmations when you're dealing with your money, whether you're dealing with your faith, whether you're dealing with finance, and so much more. And our second nugget, you want to keep this goal small, keep it specific. I have goals written on my board. I have goals written on my notepad. Yes, I have goals written on my notebook. Yes, I keep notes. I do it for organization purposes, and I've always been that way. But I also organize things using automated tools too to help me and my business grow while I'm growing my knowledge about helping you keep more of your hard-earned money. So a plan you can finish beats a goal you keep postponing. And our passage too is Proverbs 21:5. And our observation, this verse contrasts two paths. One path is a diligent path, the other path is haste. When you're dealing with money or any tangible object that can affect multiple people, if you're not performing at your work, you don't think that they're going to try to find somebody that can do a better job cheaper than you if you're costing them a lot of money, if you're just showing up and just being a how can I say it? You're not being a team member. You're just showing up for a paycheck. See, and that's where you need to take that mindset and you need to throw it out the door because you need to make yourself as valuable as you can, especially if you only have one stream of income. Now, if you have multiple streams of income that I lost, that I have had consistently because I served my country, I gave of my younger years, and yes, every month I get my disability pay, tax free, and then I get a certain portion of my military pay when it comes to 50% of the highest amount that I made my last 3 years as a petty officer first class, what they call the E6. It's one step below a chief in the Navy. So I still get a pension. So what I'm doing is we have right-sized, downsized when I did lose my contracting job, as you've heard before in January. And what I'm doing now is I am creating different streams of income outside my business, and it's going to come back to how many people that you are care about enough to be able to invite them to what we call our Money 101 series. I talk about that in my YouTube channel. And it's a simple education model where you're going to understand here locally and in the 50 states, if you're part of the Five Rings family, that you need to understand that money, you need to know what people who have money do with the money. You need to know how to protect that money. You need to be a good steward of that money. And that's why I'm reading a lot of books on it, according to E.W. Cannon and Don Gossett book that I've finished reading, Faith for Finance. I started reading it. I've got a lot of books to read, but what I'm doing is I'm mixing in a lot of faith-based people who have lived it, who have been successful. I try to mirror even secular people, but I value their knowledge, but I don't allow that to get into my true purpose where God wants you, right? Whether it's in your job, that's your purpose, right? Whatever you're doing. I was a cybersecurity professional, did that for total 30 plus years or more. Now, with that being taken away, that portion, it opens up opportunities for me to take care of health, to downsize on a certain level, to continue to pay the house down, but not putting more money towards principal. I was doing that while I was working. I was throwing a lot of that money towards the principal to pay down the house. See, because that's one of my biggest bills outside of the normal stuff, life insurance, annuities, and other things that are long term. See, you got to know how to value your dollars, but you also got to know how to value what I call the stewardship deposit. If you get paid every 2 weeks, you got to know where is my where's my stress points? Do I have more subscriptions? Do I have things that are distracting me of the world that I don't need anymore and that I can find those subscriptions? There's programs out there that will tell you how many subscriptions you got. And if you're probably not, see, I don't have a subscription to a streaming service. My wife does. So we have one of those. I have a Fire Stick. I'm using Tubi and Plex and all these other things right now, and I'm fine with that. My biggest thing is then when the sports channels come on and stuff like that, that comes on and stuff like that. I like that. That's my Sundays and certain days, but I don't worship the sports. What I do is I get enough of it when my teams are playing, but I also stay busy and being grounded in what means with the time that I have working from home, I'm taking care of my health. I'm getting all my appointments knocked out. Yes, I'm still have to technically look for work, which I'm still technically looking for work. And when I sit down with my Virginia employment, whatever, I'm going to tell them honestly, I don't want to work full time. I want to do something part time, if anything, because I only want to make a certain amount of money. I don't need to make six figures. I don't. And I feel that that will ground us. Even if I do something part-time, it'll put money in my pocket, but as I go forth and I qualify for different government programs that allow me to get tax-free money, I'm being a better steward because then I can take that money and use that for kingdom culture, to invest in things of kingdom culture. Interpretation, observation. There's first contrasts two paths, Proverbs 21:5, and you can read this for yourself. One path is a diligent path, the other path is haste, and it shows outcomes. Diligent planning tends towards profit, and haste tends towards lack. I was reading an article briefly that most Americans have only saved a few $1,000s for their retirement. They think that Social Security is going to save them. Not the way we're going right now, people. Not the way this country is going right now. You need to understand that Until we get more jobs back and we innovate and you understand how that works, or you get retrained, you're going to still, you're, all the states are putting taxes, taxes, taxes. Living in Virginia, they're trying to tax us 50 ways to oblivion. But see, I'm taking those tax advantages as a business owner and I'm using that to my advantage. It's being a good steward, right? And I need three things: one, legitimate business product or service; two, have the intent to profit and work that business anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, which I do more than that typically every week. Now, I still have an obligation to do the things that need to be done. That all includes also maintaining my health, continuing to work on looking for work, but only making a certain amount of money. I don't need to, like I said, I don't need to make that same money because I don't need that stress. I want something where I can control the hours and I will be a valuable employee during that time frame. I don't need something where I'm stressed out, not happy at work. Don't need that. And I had a good working environment there too, but at times it was stressful. And I don't need that in my life right now. As I screech towards young 53, I've set myself up financially to be able to be a blessing in other lives and invest in kingdom things like the good, virtuous entertainment and investing in comingsoonjesus.org. I was one of the first investors in that program. So I have money coming back as a thank you. So I'm getting, I think, I forgot what it was. It's a significant amount of money for the money that I lent, stuff like that. And there's other people that are part of this investment in kingdom building, right? And when you have a partnership like that and you have unique brothership, or what we call a partnership, a brother or sister in Christ, it helps you during your hard times. But it's awesome when you see the fruits, the spiritual fruits of fruition coming. My diligence for studying the last 2 or 3 weeks paid off. The test had its challenges at certain questions, but I was like, I remember these questions. Boom, 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 boom. And then what I did, I loved it when I went to the Prometrics because I got there early. I took my time and I answered the questions based on my knowledge level. If I didn't, I put a review by it. But what I loved about it is that you could highlight that specific section that you thought that wasn't right. Then you could go look. I still had 30 minutes left out of like 2 hours. I think it to take 105 questions, which 15 of those are just a test assessment. That's it. It's a pass or fail. You got to score 70, and there's two parts of it. There's the Virginia part, and there's the also the national licensing, right? So I am, once I get the next steps, which is to pay the licensing fee and apply for that, I'll get a printout of that. That'll be have my license. Then I have to get an FBI fingerprints and that stuff. That's one of them. And then you pay a fee for that. And you pay the state of Virginia something. Boom. See, everybody wants money. But see, that's all tax deductible because of being a business owner. See, and yeah. So I get to deduct that. And then I have to buy insurance so people can't hold me liable. So I have to pay that. These are monies that are coming out. And then I pay that every month. Then I do my continuing education, you know, See, so when you're working with an equally yoked entity or business that is going to help people understand a fundamentals of the foundations of money, it's a win-win situation because my last 2 years in the military, as I stated before, I was a command financial specialist. I was helping sailors keep them out of trouble because most of them have security clearance like myself at the time. I still do. So if I needed to go back to cyber, I could go back to cyber. But at this time in my life, I don't need to go back to cyber. I could do things like help desk or whatever. I don't care. Whatever. It is all back down to me what I want to do. I don't. My thing is, I don't need to chase dollars anymore. I'm letting the dollars chase me because I'm putting it in investments that when the market goes up, you make money. When the market goes down, I don't lose anything. How many people would like to hear about that? If so, I have a Money 101 overview that's in there. It's scrolling down the screen. You can get your invite if you're in the 757 area. We have a few events coming. I don't, and we'll announce those later on, stuff like that. So all I'm doing is I am being what they call a professional advocate or an inviter right now, right? Now, if you decide to work with Howard and his mentor, who we are clients of Five Rings, we see the fruitions of our fruit. So I'm not going to let you down and stuff. You make the choice. Do you want to continue to struggle, or do you want to continue to bless your family and create generational wealth using the vehicles that the rich have used for over 200 years? You're going to learn about that at the Money 101 series, whether it's the live or whether it is at the Westin, March 11th. I'll get all those details after and stuff. They're going to be in the details. Um, but I also included it in the descriptions where you can see all the events going on. This is for men, women, young people who want to understand how to set themselves up financially. Grandparents, ex-military, doesn't matter. You are our audience. Our audience is there just to educate. No pressure to sales that day. It's all about you and your goals. So, this is a wisdom principle. Steady planning beats emotional decisions. If you get emotionally attached to your money, you're setting yourself up for financial chaos. I'm telling you. If you're always watching your 401k, now understand there's different vehicles because Howard worked for a cyber company that had profit sharing. He's taking that money and that money's coming back to him in two separate checks that I'm going to take and invest that into a 10-year plan. That will put it up to, I think, age 63. Where what if I could double that money in that 10-year period? We're doing the same thing with my wife and our investments that she and I had saved up when she was working, and then I contributed to that because I was working. I'm still working, but I'm working from home right now as I look for the opportunity to do the advocate role as a licensed person when that time comes. I will be able to make money helping others. And money is not the driver for me. It's helping serve each and every one of you if you're in the 757 area. That's my passion. I want you to be blessed because I was blessed because somebody cared enough about me and my family's needs that they invited me out to our Money 101 series that we have every month at the Westin practically. And you have to reserve your spot. That's it. And then you come, make sure you eat some food because we don't eat. Yeah, you get fed after at the hotel in a nice, beautiful room. It's comfortable. They have refreshments there. And if you know me, I will sit with you and do my best to answer questions, but I'm just there as a guide, basically. I'm learning too, because each time that I sit down, I'm learning something from our presenter who's been there. He sat down there. Him and his wife sat down there. Two of my mentors that I've already sat down with. And then the person who introduced me, she's been there for a few years too. And so she helps me along too. So we're all helping each other and we all share in the diligence of caring about each and every one of you that we decided that we wanted to do something different in our past about how money works. So, a lot of financial stress isn't only about income, it's about inconsistency on unplanned choices. Money can be confusing. It can, because everybody's trying to get into your wallet. I'm telling you, everywhere you look at it, whether it's life, your electric bill's going up. Now, natural gas, everything is going up in life, but your dollars aren't keeping up with that. What if you could use vehicles that allow you to do that? You'll learn about that in the Money 101. Power of compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world, Einstein said. The power of using, this is another great one, index accounts. Example, S&P 500, the best 500 smaller companies in America and globally that I invest in. That's what I'm going to be investing in. And you're going to learn about 7 different principles just to give you a little too. And then our final, which I love, which is called our living benefits. You'll learn about these, where you get benefits while you're living if you get sick. Just telling you, just a little sneak peek. Passage 3, Luke 14:28. Our observation: Jesus is commending a simple practice. Count the cost before you build. Our interpretation: planning isn't unspiritual, planning is wise. They taught this in the military to me. You got to have plan A, plan B, plan C. As a leader at a young age, I was put into situations that were life threatening, but I also was put into situations that prepared me, prepared me for not only war, life, team building. Because I wanted every single one of the people that were under me to come back to their families and their kids and their grandparents and their mothers and their fathers. Because you don't want to lose a person that you serve with, because that's hard on any veteran. And I've had loss. I had loss. I've seen it. Every place I've been to has had some type of death, except for pretty much the shore duty. It's mainly on the ships, because a ship can be a very dangerous place, especially aircraft carriers. Um, and during that time, the deep conversations you have with your sailors, I've had some deep conversations with them and stuff. I've had even deeper conversations at my last job because I was equally yoked with fellow believers and non-believers. So we've had very interesting things, but we used our ability to communicate and use deductive reasoning to agree to disagree on certain things. Now, planning, as I said, isn't unspiritual. Planning is wise. Count the cost, protect from your commitments you can't sustain. Payment, subscriptions, lifestyle decisions, even business choices. I'm very particular in who I do business with. If I know this organization is against my values, I'm not gonna do that. So what I did yesterday is I rolled my phone plan over and saved an additional 15, $20, lowered the amount of kilobytes or gigabytes that I need for things, because my phone is typically used for when I'm working out, listening to music, or communicating back with people. So I went to a place called Patriot Mobile, which is a Christian organization, which is I pay month by month. I own the phone, and now I'm, instead of on Verizon networks, I'm on AT&T network, paying 30 something dollars or something, some ridiculous amount. So you see, Howard has even lowered his footprint even more. I went from Smart Talk, which I was paying 55, to this one. And I got a free month of subscription service because I was watching Jap Posobiec on One American News, which was on Plex. See, I get enough news to arm me about the weather, what's going on in the market. I get a lot of knowledge through the Bible, through fellow believers and how we share information together, through good, virtuous entertainment, Good View, with over 4 million and growing subscribers, and uh, new people, since NRB, there's a lot of new exciting things coming, a lot of new people coming to Good View. So it's good, virtuous entertainment, which means it is a good investment if you're a business, to connect with a person that I trust, that I've been a fellow brother in Christ and a fellow warrior like myself. He served in the Army. He's got an incredible story in the Special Forces. Had to retire from that career. He'll tell you that story. Our associate pastor at Refresh Church, Duke White Jr. He's my other brother from another mother. And I'm trying to motivate him because we, from the time that we met at the Greenbrier Mall locally to the time that he invited me and my wife to come to Refresh. We've been members for a year now, plus we're part of that church family where Jesus is at the center of not only finance, but he's the center of our life. It grounds us anytime that you enter his building. It's his building. We're just being better stewards. Now, another thing that I did was I didn't reduce my tithing to back to the Lord. I kept it the same amount, even though that I'm taking a significant haircut because of not because of the work that we didn't do, but because the government decided to cut back 32 bodies with over 100 plus years of experience doing the stuff and doing it very well. For over 23 years, my owner, he honorably served his country as a naval officer, and then he found the business. He actually founded and put together this complete modeling and simulation network that we worked. It was pretty cool what we did. I was a senior risk assessor. I was assessing risk at all level. But at the end of the day, I was starting to feel unfulfilled because I'm getting paid really good money, six figures. But I'm like, we knew writing on the wall when the work was starting to slow down. I'm like, okay, we're supposed to be getting another year. So what's going on with our access cards, our cat cards, our access to get to specific networks that we needed and stuff? Then we got the news that our contract, the government said, we are doing away with your complete CC-CAM program. And it was a shock to everybody because we were supposedly, quote unquote, promised. But the problem is I think that was just a handshake and it wasn't written down on paper. And our owner even told us that. So he did the right thing, which was an honorable thing, which he, as the contractor, was taking a significant haircut on his profits. He gave, based on seniority, a certain amount of uh, we got our PTO paid back that we had left over. We got that. I got 6 weeks of severance that helped me have more money to be able to pay things down. And of course, I already had other streams of income coming in. So for me, it was different. There was people that this was their first job, or their second or third job, and they just got hired and they had families to feed, kids going to college. Um, the good news is everybody seems like that a lot that wants to work right now is working, doing something, or they're getting closer to a job. But because we are such a contract heavy military presence here in Hampton Roads, it affected everybody. But what I did, I was taking care of my health. I went back to the gym. I've been on a 5 week journey and stuff. Not this too much this week. I did it once this week, but then I was naturally working out because I was doing my plan to pass my test, which I passed, which was a blessing. And I thank God. I prayed before, I prayed after, I had people praying for me, and even my mentors and stuff and our business partners were very happy. They said, "You're gonna do well," and I did. And so that's encouraging when you have planned and you relied on God and you allowed Him to give you those answers when it came to that multiple choice. So now I've already talked about making sure your recurring expenses, you have a budget. Then circle one thing you can reduce or remove, just one. Creating margin is one of the fastest ways to reduce pressure. 1 Timothy 6, 6:10, and 6:17 and 19, and passages 15, 30, 20 through 30. Passage 4 is 1 Timothy 6, and then verses 6 through 10, and then 17 through 19. Okay. Observation. We set contentment, warning, and instructions. We see a warning about the love of money. And we see instructions for those with resources. Don't be arrogant. Don't put hope in riches, but rich in good works. Be generous and ready to share. Interpretation. Money is a tool, but it's a dangerous master. This passage doesn't call money evil. It warns what happens when money becomes the hope, the identity, or the driver. And it paints a healthy picture. Resources held with humility, used with purpose, and expressed through your generosity. Here's some application questions. Where am I feeling pressure to compare or keep up? And what is one intentional generosity step I can take this month? Generosity is one of the best ways to keep money in its proper place. And we're going to do a weekly framework for you that you can kind of put into place yourself. Now, I want to give you a simple weekly framework you can run every week, especially if you're trying to stabilize things. I call it the 4P weekly framework. Number one, plan. Set aside 15 to 20 minutes once per week. Review what came in and what goes out and what's coming up. Choose one priority. Number 2, protect. Identify one risk to reduce late fees, overdrafts, missed payments, or no emergency buffer. You want to have an emergency buffer of some type. It's crucial. Reduce one risk per week. Number 3, practice. Pick one action step you compete this week. One extra payment, one auto transfer, one subscription canceled, 1 week of tracking. Full purpose. Choose one intentional action that aligns your money with your values, especially generosity and good works. That's it. Plan, protect, practice, purpose. Here's my closing challenge. Here's your challenge. Run the 4P framework once this week. Choose one action step. Do it. And then message me or comment what you chose. And this was Faith for Finance, Part 2, Practice and Next Step. If this helped, share this plan out with the simple plan out with somebody. And thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. I'll post this in the comments, and then we're going to go through something real quick. Well, Jonathan, we don't need that kind of language and stuff like that, but I will not disagree with you. Just please keep the language down. And don't blame the rich person, right? That they had that opportunity, because you have that opportunity to be that person and take that and do it in a manner that is even better. Remember that. You need to understand that there is a plan. So as we look at this topic, right? I want to show you some things that I am very, very proud to be part of. And I was going to tell you. All right. So this is the events coming up. This is how you can get to it. I will put this on the screen too. So bear with me. If you want to be part of this learning event or the live, I will show this to you right there. Go there. And it's also in the comments. So we have March 11th. You've got join us for lunch, learn money 101 in Virginia Beach, right? Lunch and learn. Learn money secrets of wealthy known for years. You got to reserve your spot because they have limited spots. It's from 12:15 to 1:30 for those that are available. This is a little bit about it. It's not a sales seminar, but rather an educational, entertaining workshop that takes all the mystery out of growing and protecting your wealth. Growing and protecting your money shouldn't be complicated. Money 101 will introduce you to 7-time proven financial tools and strategies that are essential for college funding, retirement planning, tax reduction, or just simple wealth accumulation. Tens of thousands of people, including me and my wife, personally ourselves, from all walks of life have benefit from Money 101, from teachers and stay-at-home moms to doctors, lawyers, and small business owners, military, government workers. Money 101 offers valuable, actionable information for everyone. These are things they never do. Now, we also have March 2nd at 6 o'clock, Wine, Women, and Wealth. We also, if you're interested in knowing more about the company that I will be working with, Five Rings Financial Company Overview, there's an online event at 6 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, March 30th. And at the Westin, I will share this out right here on the screen. Share this tab. This is where I will be at. I'll be at the Money 101. And I've already explained it. You have to reserve your spot. One of the stipulations, the doors open at 6 p.m. and we start promptly at 6:30. Please arrive early for best seats. Join us afterwards for a complimentary buffet dinner. That's why we need you to reserve your spot. So whether you show up or not, that dinner has to be paid for ahead of time. We look forward to seeing you there, and feel free to bring a friend. You're our guest. While this event is free to attend, registration is required. Please no children or financial agents without prior consent. And trust me, if you get an invite from Heather or me from that, they look into it. And this is the Westin Hotel. They do have parking. It's included. So yeah, March 2nd, Wine, Women, and Wealth. Boom. I'll go through all these. This is if you're in the Hampton Roads area. Now, look at few tickets left. So, if you are a woman who wants to network, that wants to know more about money and network with other powerful women in our community, right here, 6 p.m. to 7:45 at the business location, right here. All the information's here. And please, if there's a referral link, make sure that you mention Howard invited you. Now, I already went through the Money 101. I went through the lunch. Now let's go through this one. This is the tab about the online event. This teaches you about Five Rings Financial and how you can become like Howard. Heather and her husband are executive vice presidents. They've been doing this for 15 years. The person that introduced me, Angie, she's over here near the E. That's her. Her and her husband have an incredible nonprofit called the Family Fun Experience there in Virginia Beach, not too far from the new Pharrell building and location there where the surf parks in that area and stuff like that. So definitely check it out at ffxtheater.org if you want to have a family fun experience. And so these are different events that are happening. So let me stop sharing. So, in closing, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for listening to this. And if this is a future event that you want to be part of, please show up. I'm going to tell you personally myself, it's been a blessing to be able to serve not only our community, but serve this nation. But I want to serve you now because it's never too late to start investing in your financial future, especially now with everything going up in cost. What if you could combat that by using those 7 techniques you're going to learn at the Money 101 series? With that being said, take care, stay safe, stay positive, and understand you are loved, you are cared for, and you have a God given purpose. That the job that you have, that the situation that you are in, and remember the things that I taught today, the type plan, frame your plan, protect, practice, and purpose. That's what I'm doing with my family's, with God's finances in my life. What about you? So definitely join us for the Money 101 series. Take care, and I hope you share this, like this, and subscribe to this channel. This is about to go live on YouTube and all the social media. Take care, and I'll see you at the top.